In April 2021, Apple released a new gadget known as the AirTag.
This is AirTag. The next time the couch eats your keys, AirTag will help find them. AirTag uses the Find My network so iPhone can help you keep track of and find your things.
A TTL, or Tag, Track and Locate device, as it's known in the spy lingo, which is widely used today, and although Apple warns that it shouldn't be used for illegal activities, spy agencies have been consistently using it as a spying device. After all, AirTag is a TTL gadget that no spy agency could replicate, making it a movie-like spying device. Stick around to find out why in our today's episode. Welcome to Tradecraft Sunday. First, it's important to clarify that Apple never designed AirTag for spies, and they have released extensive documentation, guidelines and controls to reduce the cases of abuse of this incredible technology.
AirTag is designed to track items, not people. So we included safety features to discourage unwanted tracking, like unwanted tag detection, rotating identifiers, and audible alerts from unknown tags. These capabilities are an industry first and are driven by our commitment to privacy.
Also, several government entities across the world have specific guidelines and awareness campaigns to help people handle situations of discovering AirTag devices used illegally to track them or any of their assets.
With these devices being so small, it's easier now than ever before for someone to track your location without you even knowing. All they have to do is place it in your backpack, your jacket, even your car.
So what do you do if you come across one? First, you place the top of your iPhone or Android near the white side of the AirTag until a notification arrives. The notification will link you to a website with further information about the particular device, including the serial number and if it's been reported lost. However, if you believe you may be a victim of stalking or the device was placed intentionally, please contact UCI Police Department immediately and do not attempt to contact the owner.
In the event someone places a device like this somewhere on your person, car, etc. without your knowledge, Apple has made it possible for you to receive alerts through your phone. If this is the case, you will receive a notification that says something such as, AirTag found moving with you. The location of this AirTag can be seen by the owner. So what you'll want to do is tap the message to get more information. You can even have the device make a noise so you're able to locate it. Now, the device may be attached to something that you borrowed, and if that's the case, you could temporarily disable the safety alerts. You can also disable the AirTag entirely, and if you feel that your safety is at risk, you can contact the UC Irvine Police Department.
Lastly, the devices, once separated from the registered owner for a period of time, will make a sound to alert those nearby. In the event you find one like this, you can approach it using your phone to check if it's been reported lost.
And that's actually a big issue.
In Hillsborough County, a 13-year-old found one in the front of her backpack, throwing it away, telling her mom, and calling police.
It's literally right here.
As AirTags show up under cars, inside of wheel wells, mufflers, purses, you may be wondering, is Apple aware? They are, and they have some advice. If you feel it's happening to you, call police and report it.
But here our scope is different. It's not about everyday criminals spying on their spouses, robbers using them to track when their victims are away from home and so on. We talk about nation-state actors using them. And why would a nation-state actor do that? First and foremost, no spy agency could have implemented such an impressive TTL capability. And that's because AirTags rely on the entire portfolio of Apple devices. In layman's terms, AirTags broadcast a low-energy RF beacon, which, if any nearby Apple device receives, it sends it back to Apple. Of course, governments could ban this, thus making AirTags inoperable in certain regions. This doesn't mean the AirTag will stop broadcasting its signal. It's just that Apple devices will not be propagating this signal back to Apple. However, if you are in close proximity, you can still receive those signals with an SDR and even perform some tracking activities. Alright, so the first reason for an Intel service to use them is that it's using this technology, which allows literally global tracking capabilities with a tiny device, very impressive battery life, and a durable design. Secondly, and equally important, it's the extremely low signature, providing incredible deniability. Literally, anyone can go and purchase those almost anywhere in the world, and it won't attract any attention. And even if you get caught having a few of them on you, it won't raise any suspicions. Furthermore, if a target discovers it, it will be kind of hard to prove whether that was a nation-state tracking them or anyone else, like a criminal, spouse, or someone else. Lastly, people are so used to those small TTL gadgets that it won't require any sort of special training to learn how to employ them. For spies, they only need to make sure that they only link them with a securely configured burner phone, not associated to them or their agency, and use their imagination of what would it be the most effective concealment device to hide them well enough to provide intel for as long as possible. Now, because of all of those legal frameworks and Apple's approaches, there are very few cases of nation-states using them that are publicly accessible. But with that, let's study a few of them. And our first case comes from Hamburg, Germany. In May of 2023, a German anarchist who was previously investigated and was under surveillance by the Domestic Spy Agency of Germany, the BFV, noticed a tiny slit on the cushion of his scooter. This could have been a variety of things, but given his past with the German authorities, he looked into it a little further and noticed that someone used this to hide an AirTag in there. Of course, there has been no confirmation or denial if it was Germany's BFV, but that's one of the main advantages of using those, as explained earlier. Still in Europe, this time we're moving to France from an incident from March 2023. In this case, a female environmental activist that was participating in anti-government movements at the time was living in the city of Grenoble, where cycling is a very common method of commute. And she reported that she found this AirTag taped under the bike of one of her friends. Again, there is no hard evidence linking that to the French domestic intelligence services, but this is what she, the local media, and her associates speculate given their profiles and activities. And if we move outside of Europe now, in Turkey and the Kurdistan region of Iraq, in this 2023 ANF news report, we read about the Turkish National Intelligence Organization, known as MIT, that MIT works closely with Parastin, the intelligence organization in southern Kurdistan, northern Iraq, and has built up a broad network of agents and informants. Since September 2021, 5 Kurdish opposition figures from Turkey have been murdered in targeted assassinations, including genealogy researcher Nadihana Karsel. The Roj News Agency reported that a GPS transmitter was discovered in the clothing of a Kurdish patriot, revealing a new method for spying on civilians in the southern Kurdistan. And here is the video they released where we see that it wasn't a GPS tracking device, as mentioned, but an Apple AirTag. And even more recently, in this Ynet report from March of 2025 in Israel, literally a couple of months ago, we read, an internal police memo leaked revealed that weapons and bullets were found in the home of the suspected activist who was filmed clinging to the body of the fighter during a protest this week. The storm didn't end there. The leak revealed the name of an intelligence coordinator involved in the case, whose identity is supposed to be confidential. An AirTag was also found in the activist's pants. It's a surveillance device. This is how his lawyer responded. And here is the video from the suspected activist. and the AirTag found hidden in his pants. And of course, this is a global tradecraft. For instance, from the United States, Forbes said in March of 2023 that in May last year, border agents intercepted 2 packages from Shanghai, China. Inside one was a pill press, a machine used to compress powders into tablets, in the other some pill dyes. Believing that they were destined for an illegal narcotics manufacturer, the Drug Enforcement Agency was called in. DEA investigators inspected the devices, but rather than cancel the shipment or pay a visit to the intended recipient, they tried something they'd never been known to try before. They hid an Apple AirTag inside the pill press so they could track its movements. Revealed in a search warrant obtained by Forbes, it appears to be the first known case of a federal agency turning Apple's location tracking device into a surveillance technology. It shows how the tech giant's miniature tracker has gone from giving consumers a handy way to keep tabs on luggage and other valuables to a remote spy tool. There are countless similar instances across the world, but hopefully those give you an idea of how common this tradecraft has become the last few years. And of course, we shouldn't forget that government agencies could also request this data directly from Apple. As we read in Apple's website, every AirTag has a unique serial number, and paired AirTags are associated with an Apple ID. Apple can provide the paired account details in response to a subpoena or valid request from law enforcement. We have successfully partnered with them on cases where information we provided has been used to trace an AirTag back to the perpetrator, who was then apprehended and charged. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that the US Intel Services could issue similar requests, but in secret using FISA. And if you think that we missed any important government-related incident using AirTags, then please let us know in the comments section. In conclusion, AirTag is an amazing technology that only a tech giant with such a massive footprint could pull off, since it's relying on all the existing Apple devices to create a mesh network that propagates those low-energy signals. But like any other technology, it's neither good or bad, it's how people decide to use it. And naturally, for intelligence agencies, there is way too much value in this little gadget to let it pass. After all, this is how spies see the world, with any new technology bringing an entire new world of possibilities for espionage. And it's that perspective that most people don't see, and why we say that nothing is as it seems.